It's just the way we
No,
talk.
it's
right?
good. No. I like it. I like it because we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a coffee table.
Yeah, we'll butt in.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hello guys and welcome to another episode of the Commission Project. We are going to have a good time today. We've got a new segment. It's on Mondays. We call it Mentor Me Mondays, where we have different experts from our community who help adults, young adults and families in different spaces in their lives. Today we've got a guy who I would like to call my financial guru. He'll elaborate later on. But before we proceed, guys, to my far left we have
Wendy, what's good, people? Good to be back.
nearer to me on my left,
Welcome. It's a Joyce.
100%, and of course the thorn among the roses,
That's it.
representing all the men out there. Alrighty. So guys, the guest we have at our table today is a man known as Lawson Muvondo. To me, he's a friend, okay? He is a husband. He is a father. He is a businessman, okay? To the continent of Africa, and listen to me very carefully now. To the continent of Africa, he is an ambassador, specifically for Zimbabwe. Why I say this is I've never ever had somebody shove down my throat Africanism. I'm talking about proud to be African. This guy right here should be an ambassador. Zimbabwe, are you listening? Proud to be Zimbabwean, this man, and he's brought back to me like a love for Africa. He's kind of just heightened this excitement of being African and being proudly African in a foreign land. Like, it's so good. So without any further ado, guys, we have Lawson who will elaborate with regard to who he is, etc., etc.
Welcome.
Wow, that's a warm welcome. Thank you, Johnny, and thank you guys for having me. I am Lawson Muvondo, and originally born in Zimbabwe, born and raised in Zimbabwe. I moved to Australia a few years ago, many years ago, 1996. That's 29 years ago.
Wow.
To study. Yeah. That's telling my age now.
Yeah.
The whole intention was to study and go back to Africa. It didn't pan out that way. Met the love of my life and got married, and and now we have two daughters that are 19 and 17. So I've been here for 29 years, as I've said, and started my career in financial services 25 years ago in Australia. But prior to that, I had actually worked in financial services back on the continent in Africa for a couple of years. Okay. Yeah, so I did have some finance background. And I have worked for most of the banks in Australia, for all the big four banks really, in a capacity as a financial planner. Back in 2017, I actually started my business, my own practice, financial planning practice. So I've been out there doing it by myself. I specialize in personal financial advice. Yeah. I'm an advocate for financial literacy. So basically, the teaching of people about finances. The planning part is important, but people need to understand money. On a personal level, so from the youth to adults. My practice is mainly what we call accumulators, so people are between the ages of 21 to 55. Okay. So pre-retirees, accumulators to pre-retirees, so people really establishing themselves and paying off debts, raising family. So that's that sort of stuff. So I deal with helping people with their cash flow, so budgeting, managing their debts, investments, planning for retirement, and estate planning, which is basically who do you want to have your wealth when you're gone.
There you go.
So that's what I do. But but the literacy part is the most important part.
So, sorry, do you get any crazy, when you talk about estate planning, do you get any people that do crazy stuff like leave everything to their dogs or cats?
Look, there is, because my clientele is very diverse. Yep. And so, yes, I do have older people that are planning a big look. It's their circumstances. They don't. They may not have. They're not married. They don't have children. They don't have nieces or nephews. They're not particularly close to anybody. So yeah, they're going to leave charity mainly.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a charity, not necessarily dogs, but but charity, and some I've had incidences where some have left to total strangers, their neighbors.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Just because.
Yeah, can I be that neighbor?
Yeah.
I've got a few messages coming in hot in this place, and there's a few questions that they're just throwing out to you. One of which is, so you said you worked for a few banks before, right?
Yes.
From Africa, you come to Australia, you work for a few banks, and then you branch off on yourself, by yourself. So I think the folks out there want to know, like, what makes you make that, like being a financial guy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm assuming everything that you do is calculated. Yeah. So what made you make that shift?
Okay, so I really just wanted to, I've always wanted to run my own business, so to speak. Okay. So even prior to leaving the banks, I still dabbled in businesses. A few have failed, some have succeeded in other investments. So for me, I needed to, I felt that because I was a qualified financial advisor, I thought I was reasonably good at it. I should make a goal of setting up my own practice. Yeah. And dealing with the clientele I wanted. And I guess, it is hard work because obviously you're letting go of a secure job and a salary. Yep. When I started, I didn't really have clients initially, so you had to kind of build the business from there. Yeah. But it was really just ambition and the type of clients I wanted to deal with. Okay. Yeah, because my last job was working for one of the big banks, and it was predominantly in what we call private bank and commercial banking. Okay. Yep. So yes, you're dealing with big boys and reasonable money. Yep. You know, but my passion, as I said, is really on the financial literacy, everyday people. Yeah, that's good. Wanting to build something. I'm an immigrant, so I loved working with immigrants. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a lot of immigrant clients at that stage because the financial journey is different for everybody. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's having that understanding. It's not necessarily the same because most immigrants probably either come. The immigrants come in here in different ways. Yes, that's true. Our start in Australia is very different. Yeah. So I could relate to that, and so that was one of the reasons. Okay. And just model that. Yeah.
And I like looking at the immigrant part of it, right? So Australia has this thing called super. So me coming from South Africa, when I come to Australia, I'm like, what is super? I had to learn about super, etc. And coming from a different country, right, to Australia, you on zero as far as super is concerned. Yeah. So if you come in your late 20s, in your late 30s, you starting on the back foot. We're like the local Australian or like the born Australian or somebody who's coming earlier years as an immigrant. They've had a bit of a head start because they've got to work when they were 16, 17, etc. and build your super. Yeah. So it's kind of worrying sometimes for the new immigrant that's man, I don't have any super. I'm 30 years old. I've got maybe another
30 years of work.
30 years of work in me, and super wise, that may not be a lot. How do I strategize and build it up? And it's good that you kind of touched on that. Yeah. So that's definitely a challenge for most immigrants. It's a good thing that you brought that up. So because if you actually, as you said, if you compared somebody that's let's compare a tradie. That's a carpenter that's moved in from South Africa or Zimbabwe, wherever they're coming from, and they get here and they're 30 years old. Most tradies in Australia have started doing their apprenticeship at 16. Yeah, they're done by the time they're 20. You see? And they're building up their super then. And in most cases, they're probably, by the time they're 30, a few of them have purchased their first home or are on their way to purchasing their first home. Wow. So you're 30, you arrive in Australia, you've got no super, you've got no deposit for a home. So yes, it can be worrying. So the challenge then becomes catching up. But people, it's not about catching up because we're on our own journeys. Yes, it's about, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where we're starting. Where do we go from there? And so the other challenge as well on that is normally when people migrate,
the salary or the pay they're getting is usually better than they were getting back home.
Okay.
So that can also be deceiving, because I always say to people, a paycheck, a good paycheck or salary does not equate to wealth. It is actually just the potential to create wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually what we do with that money.
Yeah.
So that's why the need to actually then educate people. So we've got a lot of educated people that move from Africa. Actually, if the most Africans at the moment, especially from the southern part, are skilled migrants.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so they're coming over here already with a job and a decent wage.
Okay.
So they're skilled, but the question is, are they financially literate?
Yeah.
Because you're moving into a system that's different, slightly different to where you're coming from.
There you go.
As you rightfully said, you've got to understand the super, you've got to understand how money works here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's so easy to get credit cards, it's so easy to get personal loans. And because it's all based on the fact that you can service the debt and you earn a salary, so you could end up painting yourself in a corner if nothing's planned. But,
And in Australia, now in Africa, for those of you who are African, you know what I'm talking about. Whether you're white, Indian, African, whatever, or black, if you're from Africa, you kind of know this mentality. If you have a neighbor and you're short of sugar or milk or whatever the case is, in Africa, you can legit go next door, knock on your neighbor's door and be like, can I get a cup of sugar? And they give you, like, it's community. Seriously, it's like it's a thing.
That's it.
You know, if I don't have no milk, I can come to your house and I can get milk off you. You know what I mean? So when I first come to Australia, I looked at my neighbors, I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. It's different. Thus, the need for financial literacy and being able to like stand on your own 2 feet, because it's a different world, especially for immigrants coming in and those that don't understand how Australia works, etc. So before I hand you over to Joyce Lawson, the next question I have is, you're working hard, you're doing business, you got family, you got 2 girls, and look, girls are different.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Girls be challenging you. She asking questions, why? You know what I mean? Why? Do the dishes, but why, Dad? Do your chores, but why?
Yeah.
So while you're doing all this sort of stuff, like what reads on your scale, right, as a passion? What's the thing that Lawson Movando was passionate about?
I'm passionate about people, about family.
Okay, that's good. That was for the wife.
No. I think this is just my philosophy. I just think your quality of life is usually determined by the quality of relationships you have.
Okay.
Because life can be daunting.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be the type of husband or father or friend that you expect from other people. Which, look, we're not perfect, but that's so my passion is really building strong relationships. The challenge, I don't know if you've had the same challenge. If you're an immigrant or move to a different country as an adult, so this adult being over 18 or 21, is building relationships.
Yes.
Forming friendships, long-lasting friendships.
The tricky one,
and then maintaining those relationships.
Yep.
Because obviously there's going to be differences in culture, differences in background. That makes up for that. So over the years that I've been here, that's what I've found challenging. Okay. Now in my later years, and now because I'm a people person, I like people. That's the thing. I would like to build community, basically.
Okay, there you go.
Build community.
Yeah, because we love Australia. Yes, we're immigrants, but please, government, if you're watching, we love Australia. We're proudly Australian. That's what we're costing and everything. Okay,
Cool. We were talking earlier about the last time we were all sitting around a table, and it was South Africa 2 years ago.
Yes.
2023.
2023.
Years ago now. Hey, a lot has happened.
September.
No, January.
January? Oh yes,
Wasn't
it was
your
Jan-
birthday?
Oh yeah, it
He
was
went
Jan-
back.
Oh no. Sorry, no. Because look, I go back to South
he
Africa
went back,
every couple of years,
Yeah.
about twice a year. So I was there in January and then I was there in September.
Yes.
So it was January,
Yes.
January 2023.
A lot's obviously happened over 2 years. What does a typical day in your life look like?
Typical day in my life is wake up in the morning. I actually drive my youngest daughter to school. I still do school drop-offs. Look, 1.5 years to go. Look, she's turning 18 in January, so she might get a car. Then I may not have to drive her to school.
Yeah.
So that's my typical day. Actually, I'll take it back. I do actually wake up earlier than that. I wake up around 5 a.m.
Yep.
Either go for a run or go to the gym. I'm trying to stay healthy.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out that way. So then I'll come back and take my youngest daughter to school.
Nice.
Predominantly work from home. I do have a serviced office I use, but with technology and after COVID, most people are quite happy having meetings via Zoom.
Yeah.
or Teams.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I'll come back home and usually have breakfast, usually, and then my day starts. So in the mornings, it's really I usually have meetings in the mornings, anytime from 9:30. So from 9:30 to about 12:30, I've got meetings, and then of course my job really requires a lot of keeping quality records. So conversations, and then of course we've got to work on strategies for clients on whatever we've decided to do. Everything has to be in written form. There's a lot of compliance requirements in the job that I do.
Well, they stick to that, like enforcing.
Yeah,
those
they do.
compliance.
They do because just to explain, typically what a client meeting would be, or onboarding a client would be, is obviously meet the client, get to know them a bit, decide on what sort of advice we're going to give them, work on a strategy. We actually have to write that advice, and implement it. We actually get audited.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so our files, every file is audited to make sure that you've done what's in the best interest of the client. So that's the compliance side of the Australian. That's just the environment of the Australian financial.
Is that like linked to like tax, maybe like a tax thing?
There's tax. There's also just so back in 2020, 2019. Remember with the Royal Commission, the Banking Royal Commission.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that came out of that also then were enforced on financial advisors, because there were instances of people getting advice or not getting advice, the right advice. So it's very important to do right by the client. So everything we do has to be in the best interest of the client. Yeah. So we do handle a lot of people's personal information, financial information, and the advice you give can determine what sort of future a client has, right? Yeah. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you've got to do the right thing. So and also disclosure of the risks, because that's another thing we don't want to talk about. Every investment has its risks. Even property. And most people say that you can't go wrong with property, but there's risks in everything we do, but risks can be managed. Hence the need for advice.
Okay.
It's really cool to hear how passionate you are about helping people, and in such a big way for people as well, because finances, people are really strict over themselves, So what's like your favorite way to spend your free time?
Free time.
Not working.
Not working. Again, I like being with people. Ever since COVID and the new structure of how I do business, I actually spend a lot of time alone during the week.
That's good.
I mean, I do talk to clients face to face. So being a people person, you can kind of miss being around people. So I do spend time with family. I'll go to social events. I used to watch TV, but not as much. But I'll watch podcasts and stuff like that. Just something that kind of adds to me. Because as you know, social media can take a lot of time away from you if you're not careful. So just that. I'm learning to just... I think as you get older, you kind of value your time. So I'm learning to value my time a bit more. So make the most of the time that we have, basically.
That's good.
COVID did a number on the world, I think. Some people are talked to, weirdly enough. Some young people You know, he's a Gen Z. Is Rejoice? Are you a Gen Z?
I'm a Gen Z, loud and proud. Come on.
Gen Z. A lot of Gen Zers I talk to, like, honestly say to me, Johnny, I liked COVID.
Yeah.
They like say COVID was okay because they were in their own little space. You know, they weren't overwhelmed with the pressures of social media, of society, which is, I'm like, okay. But then, like, I find the older guys, I'm not going to put myself in. The older guys,
Gen Y.
They prefer the life post-COVID and pre-COVID because you're interacting as face-to-face.
Yeah.
You know, it's reading people's body language, it's eye contact, it's all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that can lead to a whole nother chat because we're not talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Fun
because
fact,
of
right?
that.
So kids that were born during COVID have speech difficulties
Oh,
because when they were growing up, everybody was wearing masks.
Yep.
So a lot of what we do is we read people's lips and stuff like that. So when they were growing up, they didn't get to see any of that. So they have speech difficulties, like when they're starting to start school and everything now, they're finding these kids are a little bit behind because they never had that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID did change a lot of things. That's quite interesting because a lot of behavior changed because of COVID. We haven't quite studied the effects of it, but I think people are. I know for a fact in what I do, I think a lot of people got thinking about mortality and the future. So even during COVID, I ended up having a lot more conversations with people, albeit on Zoom. And sometimes it wasn't purely look. As much as I deal in finance, I deal with life. Because it's a very important part of it. So the conversations always, yes, they started off about talking about their money, but it was always holistically about life.
Yeah.
So some people started having deeper conversations during that period. So it's quite interesting. How we can modify people's behavior. One event can.
Nothing like COVID made to get people very spiritual. People like, I want to change my life.
That's right. Yeah, we all did. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool. So we've seen the financial side of you, the private side of you. What does like a successful life to Lawson Mavondo look like?
Successful life. Funnily, it's not about money. Money is important. Don't get me wrong, but that's not. It should really just afford you freedom. Yeah. So for me, a successful life would be the freedom to do what I want. So basically, obviously, that the money part will come into it, but and see my girls grow up. Yeah. Hopefully see some grandkids while I'm still young. See my friends succeed and family succeed in whatever their endeavors are. Ideally, I love Australia. I would love to be doing more on the continent back home, visit, help. We've got a lot of talented people both here and there. And in some capacity, even after retirement, I probably still, the thing I'm really passionate about, as I keep saying, literacy, is really sharing knowledge. So that if I could do that, even if I wasn't getting paid, and still impact on somebody's life, that would be great.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
So I got to ask you one thing, which we've asked, I think, every single person we've interviewed.
This is the most important question.
Very, very important question. How many alarms does it take for you to have to switch on to get up in the morning?
I don't use an alarm.
That's a new record.
That's crazy. That wasn't even an option on our.
Your body clock automatically gets up.
Yes, I'll be up at 5. My wife says I don't sleep much, so she complains about that I make a lot of noise when I wake up. Because she loves her sleep. So I've always, I shouldn't say always, I have issues with sleeping. So I really need to switch off. There was a point when I wasn't doing much sleeping. I'd actually go see a doctor, and the doctor said, you need to switch off your phone. at a certain time. In my case, it was 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Switch off, start winding down, because for a long period, I would go to bed after midnight every day.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be up latest 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I do. I don't use an alarm.
Okay.
Because of that. So the reason I do that is because obviously, if my body says I need to sleep until 7, I'm going to sleep until 7. So if it allows me to do that, because if I set up the alarm and I've gone to bed at 12:30 or 1 a.m., then I'm not getting enough sleep. So I'm really now trying to manage that. So it's more about me managing my sleep, because I've had issues sleeping.
Funny you should say that, Lawson. Sorry to cut you off, but what you're saying is like it's almost prophetic, because guess who can relate?
I'm like,
Life
changing. Oh my god.
So not sleeping, okay? Cool. But I believe, Lawson, people with a creative mind, like Windra Joyce, right? She's a creative thinker.
Yeah.
I think it's called a creative. Full stop, right?
Creative.
I'm a creative.
Yes.
It's like a thing, yeah? Yes. I'm a creative.
She's a creative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
People that
They keep saying it.
you make it a thing. So like creators function outside of the norm. They go beyond the 9 to 5. They're the ones that think outside of the box. So I find this is what I hear is, and I see it in Rejoice, right? Where it's a thing of I'm a creative person, so I don't really go with the normal sleeping order of things. I don't know, Joyce.
I'm sure there's like a word for it. I just like, for me, if I have an idea or I see a way that something can work, I wanna work on it then. But sometimes the ideas don't come till like 11 p.m., 12, 1. And like I'm just gonna overthink it, so I'm gonna be awake anyway. So let me just get it done, you know.
So is the no sleeping time basically you processing like with like a navigator or like a GPS that says, and like when you go the wrong way and it says recalculating. Is that what's happening in the brain?
Yes, but then it turns into like oh my gosh, this could be really cool. So because I'm like working it out in my head, I'm like, okay, cool, let me just make it. Just in case.
Do you write it down? Or you just
Usually like I'll jump on my Mac, so then obviously I'm looking at my screen, or like I'll have, like I was telling Wendy the other day, I keep a visual art diary just everywhere, just because you never know, inspiration can hit anywhere.
Joyce, Lawson, does it sound familiar?
Yeah, no, you've got to harness that. Because it's not like I've always been good at it. I'm not even good at it. I'm just working on it now, and I learn from. I like young people, so I like learning from young people as well. So I learn from them, because sometimes my mind is going 100 miles an hour. For me, I work in Australia on Australian time, but I have some interests in the continent, so sometimes I'm talking to people over there. So the time difference, again, that's just an excuse, but I was always like that. But having said all that, I think sleep is very important.
Yes,
actually, and if you get enough rest. So basically, I think that there shouldn't be. One cannot have set time, but at some point you should have the catch-up sleep.
Like get those hours in.
Get the hours in, because I think I personally function better with the rest. That's why I probably now try to exercise more, because that's another thing that I was told to do. Okay. Exercise more, have some sort of routine, so that I can actually have time to rest and actually just learn to switch off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't do it all.
Yes.
However, the writing part and as ideas come, I think is important.
You gotta pin it down,
because you're creative, you've got lots of ideas coming through your head. I'm not an expert or anything like that. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying how I've managed to handle this, because I've always had, like, I look back even when I was in high school, I'd go to bed very late.
Wow.
I wasn't even studying. So to be fair, it's just I struggled to sleep. I went to a boarding school, so we'd set sleep times.
Oh, and talking about was it like the nuns that ran it?
No.
Most boarding schools, like one is boarding schools, the nuns ran it. So please, guys, if you've been at a boarding school and it was run by nuns, please put it in the comments. Let us know which boarding school it was, what country was it. It's just an interesting topic.
Yeah, no, it wasn't run by nuns, but it was very regimented.
Yeah.
And it was a boys' school, so
Okay.
they had to be. It had to be that way. So I lived in a boarding house. I think there was probably 100 boys in that boarding house. So wake up time was 6 a.m. from memory. But and then of course you take your showers, blah blah blah, and go and have breakfast and go to school.
My gosh.
Pretty much. But because it was a boys' school, sometimes we would be waking up at 5 a.m. to go for a 10K run. Or something like that. So there's a lot of stories. That's a whole different.
That's another episode right there.
That's another episode right there. But fun times at the school, and I made some good friends and lifelong friendships and a good network. So I guess unlike some people, I actually enjoyed high school. So, and I'm still in touch with quite a few of my classmates. So,
that is so good.
Yeah.
That is so good. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Not the boarding school part. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we head off, I just want to ask you to give a plug for your business, because I don't think you've told us your business name yet.
Oh, okay.
So business name,
How we can be reached.
opening hours, how you can be reached, and then we'll also put it in a link.
In a link, I'll give you all that. The business name is Akili Wealth. Website is www.akiliwealth.com.au.
Yeah.
I can be found on Instagram just as Lawson.Mavondo.
Yeah.
Or just Lawson Mavondo, you'll find me. I'm also on Facebook. I actually run a group on Facebook called Financial Uhuru, which is basically financial freedom. And I post stuff on there so people can follow on that. Yes, it's a financial wellness page, really. It's not advice per se, but I do actually share some ideas on there. I can reach via that. Or if you go on my website, you can actually, there's a contact form and there's my phone numbers on there. But yeah, I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses and use social media.
Social media, all that stuff.
But
Does it include overseas too, Lawson? Like, can folks like in Africa, if they jump on that website, can they get advice from you?
They can contact me. It's general because I'm in the Australian market and fall under the Australian jurisdiction. But having said that, when it comes to financial literacy, that it has no borders.
Okay.
It's really just because with that, it's just a habit.
Yeah.
And our relationship with money.
Okay.
Basically, so that's got nothing to do with your geographical location.
That's good.
More mindset and action.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hope you guys heard that, Jay. If you're from overseas, it doesn't matter. Like wherever the knowledge is and the wealth is, you get in there, get the best you can get out of it, and just live your life and be successful, okay?
That's it.
So, we'll end it here. So thank you, Lawson, so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we're definitely going to have you back as well for our Mentor Me Mondays.
Come on.
Very excited about this. And so, guys out there, if you've got any comments, please put them down below. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Reach out to Lawson. He's got a whole, wealth of knowledge. Is that what you call it? Yep, wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Peace.
See you guys. Check us out next time.
I'm loving this technology.
Yeah.
Go on, man. I'm
gonna have to. Commission's gonna send me. Is gonna have to send me an invoice. I'll come and record it. No, I'm serious because I've been wanting to record a few lessons. So this is good ideas.
Why not?
That's cool.
One day soon.
Yay! You always forget to take a picture. Alrighty.